Greetings. This is Ben Frazier, and this is COM 705. So glad you could be part of this class. I look forward to this class. This class is actually probably the most fundamental class in the doctoral program. Now, why do I say that? Not because I'm teaching it, but because I actually really believe that. Theory, which is describing and explaining at its most basic level, describes and explains the process of communication, the behavior of communication, how we in fact communicate, whether it's personally or through media. Theory does that. It brings in the different parts, the different people within our discipline, and has them talk about how communication actually works, how it functions within our culture, within our society, within our families, within us. And so one of the things we do as scholars is we're studying this area. We're trying to understand this area. We're actually then going to also try to contribute knowledge to this area. So in order to do that, all the research classes, qualitative, quantitative, historical, critical, rhetorical, all those different methodologies really use theory to help understand and explain our discipline and communication and our behavior. So that's why this is so important. You really can't take a quantitative class without knowing some theories. You test a theory. That's what you do through the research, through the statistics and quantitative research. And some of you are taking Dr. Brown's class right now. You need to have a theory and you test it. All research is theory informed. And qualitative research doesn't start with a theory, but it, at the end, builds up a theory, and you need to know. Now, yes, you do have to look at, in qualitative research, you have to look at the literature review, and that informs the research, the questions you ask, and the observations you make in the qualitative research and interviews you do. But then you have to take the theories and say, how do we explain what we found? How does it fit into the discussion, the larger discussion happening within the field? And so theory becomes absolutely fundamental. The same sort of thing with rhetorical or a critical school. You come to that with different theoretical underpinnings and understanding. So one of the things that I really wish for you to get out of this class, besides a good broad knowledge of many of the theories in the field, one of the things is understanding that these theories, many of them will go away or they'll change. When I was in studying at the University of Washington, we studied agenda setting. Now, agenda setting has gone through several major changes since then. If I only knew what I knew back then, I wouldn't be able to teach today. I really have to understand how the theories have evolved and changed and the strength that they now have and their weaknesses. Some of the theories last, some will not. And if you look at Littlejohn, for instance, it's in its 10th edition. If you look what was in its first edition and then second and third, if you went through there and observed the theories that are left out now or the theories that have been brought in, you'll see a changing field. Why is it changing? Because our knowledge of communication and of the human behavior in this area is just beginning. We think we have a lot of knowledge, but actually we just really are just learning. And so the theory is what? Description and explanation. How something is taking place, and then explaining why and how it is happening. So theories become very, very important for actually all the classes. That's why next year we're going to start in the fall and tell every new student that's coming in to take theory first. And then in the spring you can take some other classes, but in the fall you really need to take that theory class. And so our doctoral faculty here, in recognizing this importance of theory coming first to inform all the other research classes, in fact all the other classes, we're making that change. So what does that mean for this class? One is that you need to get a real hold of this area. That's why we have 3 texts, particularly 2 that are secondary texts, Littlejohn and Foss, that has been used. It's in its 10th edition. I used it when I was, an earlier version granted, of it when I was in graduate school, both at the University of Washington and at Cal State Fullerton when I was there. That text was being used in an earlier incarnation. And then we're using Craig and Mueller, excellent text, emphasizes some different theories. develops it a little different, and yet you'll see some similarities in how they do the analysis. Littlejohn and Foss actually borrow from an article that Craig gave on the different traditions of communication research. That leads to the second thing that you really need to get from this class. Besides a good understanding of the theories, the second thing is that you need to know how to analyze the theories, how to critically and with insight see the strengths and the weaknesses of the various theories. And that skill is so important because the theories are changing. And if you learned everything you knew that we're teaching now, 10 years from now, you're going to need to know more, and you're going to need to know how to teach yourself those things and how to analyze yourself those theories. So we're trying to help you, almost as a midwife here, help you birth this kind of understanding of how to critically analyze the various theories so that you can stand on your own and do that yourself. And that's what scholarship will really require you to do. That's what writing these papers will require you to do. The third thing, and the last thing that I'm going to mention today, is that I really want you to get what I call a cognitive map of the field. Perhaps a better way of saying it is just being able to describe the field in some way. As you see, Littlejohn and Foss do it one way, Craig and Mueller similar, but a little differently. But if you look at and pick up other, and I encourage you to do so, theory texts, they all have their own kind of way of understanding the field, grouping theories together to see what are some of the similarities. Because you can't just go piecemeal through the field and say, here's the theory, here's the theory, without seeing some of the ways in which they're linked together. And so I want you to begin to understand whether you do it through intrapersonal, interpersonal, dyadic, small group, media, culture, and move on that way through like small to large or large to small, or if you do it by the different traditions that Littlejohn and Foss suggest, or some other way, it's okay, but just have a way of being able to describe the field that makes sense to you, that you can support intellectually and as a scholar, that you can give examples and definitions that actually mean something. Now, is this area fuzzy and blurry? Are the edges of these different theories, do they bleed into each other? Yeah, of course they do. We haven't got the final word on all these yet. Just as if you look at the definition of communication in your first chapter you're reading this week, communication, not everybody has the same definition. And some people have several definitions depending on their purpose at the time in using that word. And so we need to understand the different definitions. We need to understand the commonalities that they have, both of the term communication and of the use of theory. Theory is absolutely important and fundamental to our discipline and to you as a scholar. So it's my pleasure to help you wrestle with these issues. You'll be doing that all the way through your doctoral program, I'm sure. And I encourage you to begin to get a good grasp of all these areas as you read through. And I look forward to see you on the Blackboard. And also you have the first few weeks, you have articles that you need to write based on your reading. So you read and then you pick a couple of an area, a theory, for instance, or 2 or 3 articles that are on the same topic. And then you analyze those and critically analyze those in a paper, and then look and discuss each other's paper. Hopefully this will be a good experience for you. A difficult experience, I don't doubt, but a great learning experience. God bless you. Email me if you have any questions. Ben Frazier. Talk to you soon. Bye.